everyone, and welcome to our first Learning Together at Trinity session. I'm Carolyn, and our presenter tonight will be Mrs. Melissa O'Shea, our Head of Teaching and Learning and PYP Coordinator. As we wait for everyone to join us tonight, can I please ask you to have a look at the chat session, write down your name, to introduce yourself, and maybe the year levels that your children are in the junior years. We are pleased to be hosting this event tonight. It's one of the few initiatives that we have started as part of the current climate that we're in at the moment, and I'm hoping that this is something that we'll be able to continue. And I know that you'll probably enjoy watching this from home in the comfort of your own home, knowing that you don't have to rush out the door from leaving us and making it home in time to watch the Suns play tonight, but that you'll be able to enjoy, sit back and relax, have a glass or drink or whatever you like to drink in the evening, and listen to this presentation and engage with us online and put your questions in, comments, chats along the way, so that we can then discuss those and answer any questions that you might have tonight. I'm sure that you'll enjoy being at home, and if you have the opportunity, you can't watch it at home tonight, we'll tape it for you so that you can watch it a little bit later. This is our first attempt at this, so fingers crossed everything works for us and for you as the audience at home. But most importantly, we hope that the information that we provide for you tonight is helpful to you in learning about your child's learning progress, the reporting and the online digital portfolio. So I'll hand over to our presenter tonight, Melissa O'Shea.
Good evening and welcome. So pleased that you can join us tonight. Now throughout the session tonight, if you do have any questions or any feedback, feel free to put it in the chat box. We really value your feedback, and are looking forward to getting your questions and answering a few of those this evening. Okay, so this evening's presentation will cover three areas. So we're going to look at continuous reporting, the what and the why to start off with. Then we're going to watch a little video with which a couple of our teachers, Anne Vivian and Alison Bryant, put together, which will give you a little snapshot into a portfolio and just talk you through some of the features on Seesaw and some of the rubrics and feedback as well. And then our final section tonight will be a Q&A session. So that's where we'll answer some of those questions as they come up throughout this evening. Okay. So to start off with, I guess it's the why around continuous reporting. So continuous reporting is the practice of reporting in regular instalments, and we make that visible to parents and students throughout the learning journey, so throughout the year, rather than that one snapshot at the end of the semester and historically with the portfolio at the end of the term. But for continuous reporting to be effective, it needs to include targeted, specific and timely feedback, which assists the students and the parents and the teachers to work together to help the students continue to grow with their learning. So John Hattie, who is currently the Professor of Education and the Director of the Melbourne Education Research Institute at the University of Melbourne, has identified feedback as one of the most effective teaching practices. So as I mentioned, this feedback needs to be about a taught learning goal. So that's the targeted part, targeted feedback. It needs to be specific, so that you know exactly what your child's strengths are and their areas for growth. And it needs to be timely. So as the assessment is happening, and not just at the end of the semester when children have forgotten about it. Students need this feedback so that they can reflect, they can discuss, and they can implement some of those suggestions in the feedback and continue to learn and grow. And parents, you are your child's first teacher, so we feel that this feedback is important for you because it helps you get a picture of what your child's progressing with at school, and it helps you with the conversations with your child at home as well. So in 2019, here on the Junior Years campus, we established a reporting committee, and we did that to review our current practices, to identify areas that we were already doing that were effective, to look at parent feedback from a survey that we conducted at the start of 2019, and to develop an implementation plan for this year. And we began on track in 2020 with the introduction of our continuous reporting, but with the disruption of COVID, it was great having Seesaw. It was a great tool to use, but the purpose of Seesaw changed with online learning. It became a tool that we could use to, here at school, we could see what children were doing. So the purpose changed there. But we've transitioned back again to using Seesaw as a reporting tool. So you may have noticed a reduction in the number of pieces being submitted to Seesaw. Okay. So we're just going to share with you now a video that, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of our teachers have put together, which is just going to talk you through a couple of portfolio pieces. Now, while you're watching this video, if you can think of 2 stars, so that's some things that you've really valued about our digital portfolios so far, and a wish, something that you think we need to include or something that we need to improve on. So if you can just think about that as you're watching it and just pop those into the chat box as well as we're going, that would be great. If you have any questions, just pop those into the chat box as we're going as well.
Information on how we use Seesaw at Trinity for continuous reporting. This is what you see as a family member. You can see Seesaw uses a blog style for their posts. You will see the most current work samples at the top of your feed. The first piece of work involves a student rubric. Self-assessments are completed by students to reflect upon their work. In this particular piece, Johnny has said that he felt happy with his preparation and was proud of his use of expression, speaking loudly, clearly, and confidently. Johnny also said he felt that he was happy with the planning. At the bottom of the page, Johnny has identified an area of growth as taking away his hands and using a clearer voice. The teacher's comment identifies areas of strength such as expression and effort. They have also provided an area of growth to help the student understand what they can work on in the future. Following on from the rubric, we can see the recording of Johnny's presentation. By pressing the play button, we can view the piece.
And Polly. One day they were walking through the woods.
In the comment, the teacher has once again identified specific student strengths and areas of growth. They also have let us know that Johnny is working above year level for this particular piece. Moving on to the next sample, it is important to note that pressing the title will open a smaller window containing information about the task. By clicking on the activity, we can enlarge the child's work to be able to read it more clearly. By pressing the arrow on the right-hand side, we are able to move through the pages in this particular sample. The numbers in the top right-hand corner tells us that there are 4 pages of work. The comment once again shows the level the piece has been completed at, as well as the strengths and areas of growth. You could use this information in home discussions when celebrating achievements and talking about areas that could be worked on further. Sample 4 contains a teacher rubric. You can see in this particular work sample, Johnny is mostly working above or well above year level. It is important to remember that the marks given on Seesaw are for that task only and are not an overall mark. Looking at this rubric, we can see that Johnny is capable of demonstrating as well as areas that he can work on to improve by looking in the well above column and seeing points that are.
Thank you, Anne and Alison, for that video. So we're just going to pause and reflect now and just give you a little bit of thinking time. So if you haven't popped anything in that chat box yet, we'd love to hear from you. So if you can give us 2 stars, so 2 things that you like or that you think are working really well with this new continuous reporting that we're doing through Seesaw, and 1 wish, something that you would like changed, added, deleted, something that you think we could do better. So start popping those things in the comment box, in the chat box, because we really, really want to hear from you. Okay, Carolyn, have we got anything coming in? Any stars and wishes coming in yet?
No comments yet from anybody at this stage. But as I've been listening and watching to that video, I'm just reflecting myself, some of the things that I think, and this is the beauty of this session tonight, we really do want to hear from you, because at the moment this is what we think parents would like to see in the digital portfolio. This is what we think the parents would value in terms of the feedback that we're giving. But we'd like to hear from you, so if you've got any ideas, please share them. But we're thinking that you do like seeing your children actually reading or performing or recording a piece of work in Seesaw and seeing that live, and that's a real benefit. We think that you like that personalised touch to it. We're hoping that it's easy to use the app, and that you're getting a notification when your child has a new piece of work for you to view. We also hope that you are enjoying the explanations that come along with the pieces. And we hope that as that video showed, you're actually able to go in and see an explanation of the task, and then see the rubric, and then see the feedback that the teacher's given, as well as you being able to give feedback as well. A wish, I wonder what you're wishing for in terms of the Seesaw. Do you wish for more rubrics or more comments, or what is the easiest way for you to understand your children's work? We're wondering what else would you like to wish for? But please, any other comments, please add those in the chat room, and I'll hand back to Mel.
Okay, so we might move on then, and we're going to have a look now at a work sample, which is up there on the screen now. So this is actually a prep child's piece of work, and we've just spoken about feedback and how important that is. And we saw some examples of some student self-assessments through rubrics and comments, as well as teacher comments and teacher rubrics. And discussing these with your child may give you more information about how they felt with their learning and areas they view as their strengths and weaknesses. And we love to share this feedback with you, but we also want to hear your feedback as well. So from those conversations you have at home about their pieces of work, this helps us when we're here at school and chatting to the children. So just looking at this piece of work here, so we'll have a bit of a look at this one here. When providing feedback, how we might go about providing feedback with this piece of work. So something that the children are really familiar with here at school is what works well, WWW, and even better if, EBI. So if we just have a look at this piece of work here, so this is a prep student's piece of work, and they were asked initially, so the first thing they do is draw a detailed picture, and there is a big emphasis on putting a lot of detail in your picture. So they do that first of all, and then they're asked to write about it. Now, I'm sure a lot of your children have been in prep. Remember back to those days when it was all about the sounding out, really stretching those words, looking at the finger spaces and the letter formation, the basic punctuation. So if we're looking at this picture here, I might say, you've worked hard at sounding out your words and leaving finger spaces. Next time, see if you can remember to put a full stop at the end of your sentence. Now, if you were just to pop that comment in on their Seesaw piece, that gives the teachers an opportunity to, it's sharing that, the teaching of the child with you, and gives us an opportunity to work with you on those goals that you've talked about at home with your child as well. Sometimes it might just be a positive comment. I would tend to err on the just putting a positive on rather than just putting on something to work on. It's always good to find the positives in things. And that feedback that's focused on effort and is targeted is more likely to have impact on learning. So instead of saying, oh, great job, wow, you're amazing, trying to find something in their work that they've actually worked hard on to identify as an area of strength for them. Okay, so we're just going to move now to our question and answer session, and I'm hoping that you have some questions for us or that you've got some feedback for us, because we are planning a staff meeting in the coming weeks where we're going to review our continuous reporting policy, and I really want that shared picture with you in there. I want to bring back things that you're liking about our continuous reporting, or things that you feel are not working at the moment that we need to change and adapt. So if you can share those things with us now. Of course, if you think of something later on and you haven't had the opportunity to share it here, my email is up on the screen there. You are always more than welcome to email me if you think of something later on, questions, feedback, whatever it is. And I'm happy to get back to you at a later point. So I'm just going to hand over to Carolyn now.
Yes, we have our first question through, Mel, and it's asking, can they access Seesaw from the parent portal?
That's a really good question. Mm-hmm. I don't think there actually is a link on the parent portal. We could definitely put one on for you. It would be in that in that area where the links already are. So it would be where Sunshine Classics and the other subscriptions and things are. You would still need to have your login details to log in through that, but we can definitely put a Seesaw link on the parent portal.
Okay, just another question that I was thinking about. What if we see a piece of work that our child has written? What if we think that we don't think it's their best effort? What sort of, can we get them to do it again? Or is it the fact that we need to give a response? How do we respond to that? Would you suggest, Mel?
What a great conversation starter at home. Just talking to your child about, what do you think about this piece of work? Have you done your best here? Do you think that, I can see here that the teachers put that this is working at year level. Do you think that's your best piece of work? Is this what you're capable of? And having a conversation around that, and you're more than welcome to put a comment in together, and it might be a shared comment that, we're on reflection. I don't think this is, we've talked about this, and my child has identified this as something that they could do to improve their work, because especially with writing, we're always talking about how to up-level our writing, as you saw in one of the samples that was shown tonight. So they could definitely use that in class. I wouldn't go on and change that piece of work on Seesaw, because that was a piece that they have done in class, but it's certainly a great conversation around, are you putting the effort in class, and, if not, why not? And if you have concerns about something, you can always contact the class teacher about that too, to talk about that further. Okay,
another question really, I guess, if I was a parent, sometimes I might not think that my comments are really relevant to their learning. What's the best way for me to approach those comments in relation to their specific task? Is there something to guide me in the types of comments? I know you used that even better if and what works well, but what about the actual task? How can I make my comments more relevant to the task maybe?
And maybe again, that comes back to having a conversation with your child about what the task was about. I guess it opens up that as an area of conversation. What was the teacher asking you to do here? And what was it that you were expected to do? What was the learning intention of this task? What was it about? Do you feel that you've done your best in that piece of work? What was the question, Caroline?
Just the comments being relevant to the particular learning.
Yeah, so
sometimes
how to target those comments, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always tricky, isn't it? Because you're not there for the task, and I guess you can have a look at what the task outline was. You could probably have a look at the rubric as well if there is one, just to see what's on the rubric, and have a look. So if they've been highlighted as an at student, but you think they should actually be an above or a well above, have a look at that criteria in there. Well, why do you think you didn't get that? Let's have a look at this. Are you capable of doing that? And if the answer is yes, well then let's see you do that next time you have a go at that type of activity.
Okay, and just a question from our parents there about the view. Is the child's view and what they might see on their child's device, the view that they see in Seesaw, different to the parent view? And what are the main differences?
From what they see at school?
Yeah, so if a parent is looking at their son's iPad or their device and seeing a view there, and then the parent's view, is that different? And why? How is that different?
I don't know the answer to that question. I would need to get back to you. I imagine it would be fairly similar. The children here at school don't see, in years 4 and 5, they only see their own portfolio. They don't see each other's. In Prep to 3 with the shared devices, when they're doing an activity, and they will complete the activity on the iPad, and then they post it to themselves. So they would have the list of all the students there, and they would post it to their learning. So I imagine it would be fairly similar, but I'm not exactly sure of the answer to that one, but I can certainly find out.
Okay, just another question that I was thinking about. Are there samples of work for all the subject areas that my child will study here in the junior years?
Yeah, so we make sure that each term, so at the moment there's protocols around that, so there should be 2 to 3 English pieces that go up a term. There should be 2 to 3 maths pieces, 1 to 3 unit of inquiry, and the reason that one's a little more of a variable is because of the transdisciplinary nature. So they might do an English task that's also related to their unit of inquiry. So 1 to 3 unit of inquiry, and then specialist subjects they do once a semester. They should have a specialist subject go up as well. Yeah, and Christian studies once a term. Yeah.
Okay, and also if I'm looking at my child's portfolio and I see lots of samples of work, and one sample I'm really quite concerned because it's not working towards year level, do I need to be worried about that if the other samples are at a year level, or should I, and is that going to affect his end of semester grade if there's one sample there that doesn't show his best work? Do I need to worry about that and contact the teacher, or how do I see that one piece in a full set across the semester?
Yeah, so each, when we give feedback on each piece of work, and it'll say, it might say working towards year level for this piece of work, so that's just related to that sample of work. If I started to see a few like that and you think it's a drop in what they would normally be achieving, then you could certainly contact the class teacher about that. If it's a once-off, we have to remember that it is a point in time, and perhaps they were having an off day, but of course if you are concerned about any piece of work and you feel that your child's not doing their best, or that there's other things at play, then certainly, or you feel like that their learning has stagnated, that they're not progressing, then certainly contact the class teacher about that. You can send them an email and they're always happy to get back to you.
I think that answers quite a lot of questions, but please, if you've got any other questions, email us or contact the school and we'd be happy to answer. I think for us, the main reason in moving towards this continuous reporting and the Seesaw is to give parents, yourselves, more regular feedback on how the students are progressing in class, and for you to see the work that they're doing firsthand from the classroom, and to be able to give that feedback so that the teachers can see that you're interacting with that as well. and knowing where your child is at all the way along and not needing to wait till the end of semester for a grade. I'll hand back to Mel now to finish off our session tonight.
Yeah, and as Carolyn said, I think it's so important that you're getting this feedback on a continual basis so that you are aware of how your child is progressing with their learning throughout. And of course, if you're ever concerned about anything, feel free to contact the class teacher as the first point of call, or you can contact myself, Mandy, Tracy, or Carolyn Thistlethwaite about any other concerns that you have as well. That concludes our session tonight. But again, if you have any other questions or you have any other feedback that you think of at a later point, please feel free to contact us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our first live session. We hope to offer some more throughout the rest of the year. Enjoy your evening. Thanks very much. Bye.